Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. As you can see, I got the moon in the background. This is the perfect setting for this. Strizzy Strack the Wolverine will be joining us in just a moment, but I figured I'd kick us off. I feel like Thriller or something. I've been here, I'm in my backyard on my deck. I've been hearing all this noise in the backyard, all this scurrying across. So I just yelled out to whoever was listening. I just said, I'm not afraid of you. I don't care who you are. So, and that's partially true. All right. So I'm here, man, waiting for Strizzy Strack to come in. I apologize for that little mishap right there. Just letting y'all see that. So we're just getting started. I wanted to kind of just do something different today. I wanted to sit on my backyard and just chill. It has been a crazy week. So hopefully I'm trusting that all technology and all stuff is working because sometimes you don't realize stuff isn't working, can't hear you. So if you are listening and you are hearing this on the audio version, I will obviously not sound as clear as I normally sound because I am sitting on my deck with a couple of Beats Fit Pro ear pods in. And so I'm just here chilling. It's been a night. Listen, hey, let me say this real quick. I know I'm just rambling right now, and that's all right. Y'all tuned in. Whoever said that climate change is a lie is a lying man. It is like close to Christmas, and it is ridiculous outside. Warm. I mean, I'm outside walking around. I gotta keep a coat on just because I don't want to get sucked into nothing crazy, right? So this is not usual weather for this time in December. If it is, I'm unaware. It's usually a lot colder than this. So whoever's talking about climate change and mocking people who think about global warming, I don't know where you live, but it's a little too warm to be in D.C. right now, or just outside of D.C. where I'm at. I'm in Maryland. It's a little too warm for this to be here. So all that to say, it's a crazy moment, ladies and gentlemen. And put your hands together for Strizzy Strack, the Wolverine, ladies and gentlemen. Strack has joined the party. I'm outside. He's in the studio. He's the rapper, which I know about that old school Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince joint. Y'all know nothing about that. It's fun to be out here, man. My Wi-Fi is tough because I'm in the backyard on the grill and the Wi-Fi is still working. I'm actually impressed with Verizon right now because the Wi-Fi is holding up. And
You know what?
Strizzy is going to be freeze framing. Watch.
We need to get that new background in the back though. The one I sent you.
Yeah, I ain't get it. I ain't see the email. I ain't get it. It ain't
What
gonna
you
get. It ain't gonna get
mean,
in there
man?
today. It ain't gonna get in there
Why
today
not?
because
Why
I'm
not?
outside and I can't do it. I'm
Slapping. You
outside.
got us looking.
You know
Got us
what I'm
looking
saying?
whack out here.
Man, I don't think
What's good?
anybody that's watching actually cares, Strack, to be honest with you. You know what
I
I'm
know
saying?
it's a
I
me
don't
thing.
think
It's a me
anybody
thing. I'm
tripping.
selfish. I'm selfish.
Now I get that. Now you ain't selfish. You just like you aesthetically right. You want it to look right. I get it. What you eating, man? You be sucking on your fingers and all that, man. What's going on over there? You replacing me eating the Jolly Ranchers right now. What are we doing right
Whatever.
now, man?
It's none of y'all business. You know what I'm
I still
saying?
can't believe there was people that was like, man, he's sucking on the Jolly Ranchers. I was that to me, man. Them Jolly Ranchers sound good when you eat. It was like, hey, go ahead, fam. No, I don't want to hear that, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear it. So, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen. As always, back to the grill again. The grill
The
again.
grill
Back
again.
to the grill again. The grill again. This is season 4, episode 8 of Cross Examine, and excited to be here doing this with y'all, man. I've been waiting for this episode, or at least initially I was waiting for this episode, but I find myself in a place where I'm last seen, which I don't know about that. If anybody tells me where that bar is from, you will get a special painting of your knuckles from Strack. Where I find myself face when I'm laughing, and don't Google it either. If you have to Google it, then you're not really true to the game. All right.
Now you know your mic sound
So
terrible
it's
though.
well, it's because I'm on headphones, bro.
I know your
So
joint
I'm
is
not sitting in front of
terrible.
my computer. Really,
You
you can't hear
killing
me?
me right now.
You really can't hear me?
Nah, I can hear you. You just kind of, you sound like
Okay.
you look like you're in space. Like that's that camera angle, like your head is in space right now.
All of it. All of it. You know what I'm saying? All of it. Hey, listen, I put up with your terrible streams of freezing 15 times an episode all the time and don't say nothing. So you can handle this. I'm sorry if my
Okay.
body type looks weird right now. I do look like Mr. Potato Head,
It's
sort
the
of.
camera angle. Come on, camera guy.
Nah, man, I got it on the table. I'm not moving the camera angle this time. I'm just gonna look like
You look
Eddie.
like hello, hello, hello. Like that's how far
Yeah,
you
right.
is.
That's what I feel like right now, though. That's what it feels like right now. It feels like hello, hello, hello.
This
That's
is
what I feel like.
terrible.
It's been a crazy week, bro. And I'm getting all these crazy text messages from people. I have no idea what's going on right now. So is the angle really bothering you, bro? You want me to? It really got you feeling like you in space?
I mean, yeah, it really does. This whole joint is just crazy right now.
Yeah. Well, what we talking about is gonna be crazy. So
It is. You're right. You're definitely right.
we talking about it's gonna be crazy. Well, I'm excited. This has been a week I've been waiting for, and then the week became something that is a temptation. So that's what it is. So this week went from, man, I can't wait for this week, and then so there's a lot of good stuff this week. So obviously, this week for me is album week, dropping Serial Killers, Smiling Pictures tomorrow, Friday at 12:01 a.m. Whatever, it should be everywhere. But the way this week has been going, I won't be surprised if something else happens. We'll get into that a little bit later. Also, my son, man, turns 14 on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to that. And then tomorrow night, Spider-Man comes out. You already know how I feel about the web slinger. So
Yeah.
we're gonna check that out, me and the kids. I dropped a video for not it was supposed to it dropped yesterday, but there was some demonic influence. So we'll get into all that in just a moment. But it's been a crazy week. But a couple of things, man. Let's just jump into some news real quick. 360 news, ladies and gentlemen. I saw this happen. Steph Curry breaks Ray Allen's 3-point record.
Yeah.
I
I
thought
mean,
that was dope, man.
everybody knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, you knew it was going to happen. I thought it was dope. You knew it was going to happen, and but you know what's about it? What I thought? I don't remember. I can't remember how long it took Ray Allen, how many years in the NBA before he broke that record. I don't remember how many years it was. But I was
Yeah, I
thinking,
don't know.
like, when I'm looking at Steph Curry, right? Steph Curry doesn't look like he's stopping anytime soon, right?
Nah.
Steph Curry looks like he got a few more years in him. So he gonna put a lot more threes on that record.
Oh, definitely.
It's gonna be real difficult to see somebody break that record. You know what I'm saying? So shouts to him, man. I really think I've said this before. I'll say it again. I honestly think he's the most revolutionary player since Jordan. I don't think anyone. I mean, I think LeBron is a phenomenal player. Kobe was great. We've had a lot of really good basketball players, but none of them really. LeBron was just like a phenom in the game, but Steph Curry changed the whole game. Kind of like I've said before, like how Michael Jordan made 6'6" be like everybody wanted to be that. You would
Yeah.
compare like how tall are you? 6. Oh, you like Michael Jordan? Like he made a height become like the most. But Steph Curry, bro, I don't think anyone besides Jordan, since Jordan at least, has done what he did to the game. I just don't
Nah,
see it, bro. And then I
nah, he
would say
transformed it.
before he transformed, then before that, then you would go to like Bird and Magic, right? They just transformed the game in ways that Steph Curry made everyone want to shoot 3 pointers. And so the fact that he's a believer too was really dope. I love that he's a believer. And he's killing it. His mom and dad were both there, which was ironic because they're in a divorce proceeding. So they definitely weren't sitting together. Uh, but I'm excited about that for him. Good for him. Good for Golden
Yeah,
State.
the whole
It's
team
gonna
is
be
killing it right now.
they balling, man, and they only
Yeah,
got
they
Klay Thompson
balling.
back yet.
Nah, but they got some heavy hitters, man. The ball
That
Poole, he's no
that dude
joke.
Jordan Poole
Gary
is a
Payton Jr.
monster, bro.
Gary Payton's no joke. Like they whole squad is popping right now.
Bro, that dude is a monster, fam. Jordan
Yeah,
Poole. I was
yeah,
watching him in the summer league. He was balling, bro.
yeah. He's a problem.
No, he's a problem, fam. So
Yep.
shouts out to him. All right. Also staying in the sports world, Dion Sanders, bro. Dion Sanders got a 5-star recruit, 6'1", I think 165, amazing cornerback, right? This dude was going to Florida State and is now going to Jackson State with Deion Sanders as head coach.
Ooh.
Now, what makes this a big deal is that Jackson State is a HBCU, and usually players don't go to HBCUs, which, for those of you that don't know, historically black college and university.
To try to make it.
Yeah, you don't go there. You don't go to the NFL. You can, but you don't typically do that. Most players that are like super athletes in college that have scholarships from the major schools go to like Alabama, Miami, Ohio State, Florida State, or they go to the Baylor. They go to the schools where they want to go to the NBA, NFL.
Right.
So for him to get a 5-star recruit to come to Jackson State is big,
Yeah, that's a
especially
big
when he
deal.
was at least verbally committed to Florida State. I didn't know this, but Jackson State actually beat Florida State a couple of months ago.
Hmm.
At the end, I think it was like a game, like a through a pass, receiver caught that joint and broke out and scored a touchdown and beat Florida State. So I don't know what Dion used to pull him there, but that's a big pull, bro.
Yeah,
And the
man.
dude, his name is escaping me, but the dude said that he basically feels like a responsibility to help Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter's his name. He feels like a responsibility to help players start going to HBCUs and considering that. So I thought that was dope, man. I
That
thought
is
it was
dope.
dope. I think it's dope, and I hope he has a good career and goes to the NFL from there, and then inspires other people to play at other places, man. I hope that.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
cool.
something that blew me away, and I'm sure you probably read this. This is what blew me away. So Billie Eilish, right? Now I don't. Let me just qualify what I'm about to say. I've never listened to her music. I think I've heard one song because I kept hearing about who is this girl. And one of the things that blew me away about what we're about to talk about, what she said, was that when you look at the way the record industry portrays people, particularly women, they usually want you to think that all these women are kind of like sultry, like always like in like sex symbols, right? They want you to lust after these women. I mean, even if women are married, they want them to not wear their wedding rings in music videos and stuff like that because they want to give the perception that the woman is available because they feel like that's going to help sell records. And so
Right.
they do the same thing across the boardwalk. So when you see these girls, you never know one how old they are because they make them look older than what they are. And usually so when people have like a real talent, sometimes women can look more much that you think they're really older than what they are because she has such a good singing voice, a strong voice. Well, this girl I think is like 19, and she's a superstar right now. Now I don't listen to her music at all, and she looks kind of like satanic to me, and like pictures I've seen and some of the songs that she's done. Well, she was
Hmm.
on Howard Stern, and she said on her show that pornography ruined her brain.
Right.
And you first but you don't hear a lot of women talk about pornography, right? That much at all. You don't hear it. Don't hear a lot of women. But then you don't hear women that are like her that I don't think her image is like I'm trying to sell sex through my image, but sex comes with the package when you're a woman in the music industry. And she said something, and she basically said the pornography industry disgusts her. Like she's
For
disgusted
sure,
by it.
yeah,
So her
yeah.
so her story is sure, but her story is when she was 11 years old is when she started watching pornography. I can't
Right,
remember how she said she found out about it, but she started to watch it, right? Then she said over time she got desensitized to it and really needed to watch more like violent pornography. So she would watch like violent BDSM type stuff. And she said she was a virgin the whole time this was happening. But then when she lost her virginity and began to have sex, she couldn't enjoy it because she expected it. She would allow things to happen that she shouldn't have had because she basically created an appetite based on the false imagery and all that stuff from pornography.
right,
And so what I was encouraged by and blown away by was here is a woman who is a superstar in the recording industry. She's a young woman, and she is basically denouncing the pornography industry in ways that would really offend people because she's essentially saying it is disgusting, it's this, and most of the guys who are attracted to her probably lust after her in the way that they would pornography. So I thought it was fascinating that one, she makes the position that pornography is disgusting. It destroyed her brain. Two, she said this on Howard Stern's show.
right.
And I don't know how much you know about Howard
Oh
Stern.
yeah, I know about Howard Stern since
He's a
from back in
dirty
the day.
dude, right?
Yeah,
Right. So Howard Stern would promote pornography, talk about his watching it, loving porno. So for her to be on his show, I think that was intentional. She said she denounces pornography, says it ruined her brain, it ruined her understanding of love and sex and all of it. And in this day and age, bro, I just thought that doesn't happen.
nah, not at
So,
all.
so I was actually impressed by that. I was really impressed by it. So shouts to Billie Eilish, man. I don't got me listening to her music, but I have a lot of respect for Billie Eilish. And I don't
What kind
know.
of music does she do?
I would imagine maybe someone who's watching live can tell us. I think it's more like alternative kind of rock, sort of that type of stuff. Like I've only heard a song or two. It's kind of pop, alternative pop, sort of
Got you. Is she
on
like
that.
from Europe? Is she from Europe?
Nah, she's from here, man. She's from
Is she?
the South somewhere, like Georgia or something. When
Okay.
I first
Huh.
saw her, I thought she was from like the UK because she just had like green hair. She has these piercing eyes, and
Yeah, she
so she
got
just
that
had
vibe going. She looked like
right.
UK type.
She got the UK like I'm on heroin sort of, but not vibe. Kind of like that
Dang.
look. No, I'm just saying like it's a vibe, right? Like what you mean? I just said shouts to the woman. You know what I'm saying? I respect her. We just say
Yeah, no doubt,
but
no doubt.
I just that's how they present these women. I didn't choose her wardrobe. I didn't tell her to color her hair. They present her that way. So shouts to her, man. Shouts to I'm not endorsing her because I don't know what she does, but shouts to her for going on Howard Stern and saying
No
pornography
doubt.
is garbage. And
Yeah,
that the
that takes some.
pornography
That takes some.
industry
It
has
takes some
made women,
courage.
yeah, man, it takes courage, bro. But when you're a superstar, you can say stuff like that. So shouts to Mrs. Eilish. What a week it's been, bro. I'm glad to get to this point, but a part of me, it's been. I will be honest and say this. This is the this is the first time that I've had this much difficulty in trying to get the music I'm working on out there. Like I've never experienced this before.
Hmm.
So this week, like most of the listeners don't know, but I've been talking to you about this, but even you don't know the depth to which I'm in this kind of season where I'm just in a schemes of the devil kind of perspective. Like I feel like in my walk as a believer, and then all of those things, I'm just more sensitive to the schemes of the devil. And a lot of that, a lot of what opened my eyes to sort of what I would call the absence of from the majority of the evangelical Christian conscience, but more so the Reformed Christian conscience. Like there's a sense where he's sort of a Bama, like he means nothing because Christ accomplished everything. And so we have such a high view of the sovereignty of God. What is their enemy, the devil, Satan, and he doesn't have anyone. He's not doing anything. He can't do anything, and it's just true, biblically speaking. So I've just been thinking about sort of what happened to the devil, and like what happened to him from the collective evangelical conscience. Not that we blame everything on the, but that we recognize that the church has a real adversary, right? And most of the community, most of what we know in the New Testament is post-resurrection theology, right? This is after Jesus rose from the dead, and we still hear from the Bible authors, beware this guy. This dude is a roaring lion. He's a formidable opponent.
Right.
So I've noticed some things the few months as I've been, and a lot of it came from me pursuing this album and like, man, what is like the idea of like why are people fascinated with like serial killers and stuff like that? So a lot of this came to fruition. So this week, man, Dan Miller, shouts to Dan Miller. That's my dude. Dan Miller and me have collabed on every album, the last 4 albums I've done, and we always do videos together. Like we work together well. I push him, he pushes me. I trust Dan, and so we worked really hard on the Natural Born Killers video. And yesterday, my plan was I always upload my music video 2 to 3 days before the album drops, so that way people see the video, it gets some momentum, like it, they're excited about the album getting ready to drop. So I loaded the album up yesterday, and it said, after I loaded the album up, Facebook was like this: something's wrong. Someone's hacked into your account. Your account's frozen. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So then it made me go through this protocol to prove who I am so that it would allow me to have access to my account, which I did. The video was gone. So I did it all over again. All right. Put the video back in, tag some people, same thing happens. I'm like, first it went through, then all of a sudden it's like, something's wrong. Someone hacked into your account. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. This has never happened to me before. Never happened to me. So second time, I do this again, do it. And then the third time I think, all right, I'm gonna be real minimalistic. I'm not gonna write, I'm not gonna tag a lot of people, I'm not gonna write a lot of text. Maybe that's why it's getting flagged. So I do that, the video goes through, right? But then Facebook screenshots the video at the part in the video where I talk about Zoom. When I say we're on Zoom and everything we consume is making us David Hume, reacting to whom and whom might pray. It freezes the thumbnail on that part, so the video looks like it's a Zoom video. So I'm tagging people, and all I put was NBKS for Natural Born Killers. I didn't put anything else because I was like, I keep getting locked out of my account. So Dan texts me and says, bro, you might want to write some more text because when I look at the video, it looks like it's a Zoom video. It doesn't look like it's a music video at all. And I said, man, you might be right, bro. Because I'm used to be honest, bro, I'm used to getting a pretty high percentage of views like the first couple of days I drop a video. So I was like, okay, wow, my engagement is pretty low. So I thought, all right, cool. So I go in and try to change the thumbnail. All of a sudden, Facebook says something went wrong. Boom, the video is yanked off again. So Dan texted me and said, bro, the video's gone and there's a COVID-19 joint. Because in the video, I mentioned something about vaccines. So these people are trigger happy, bro. They hear the word vaccine and they immediately put a disclaimer on that joint. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But
I'm
then the
surprised
video
they
was
didn't
gone.
fact check that joint. They should have fact
Yeah,
checked it.
right. They should have. So I just said to Dan, I said, bro, do me a favor. Could you give me a thumbnail that I can replace it with, and I'll try to upload it again in the morning. So he sent me one this morning. Dan is a gangster, man. I want to talk more about Dan later, but But he sent me one this morning, and then I was able to upload the video. But I was like, sort of like not. It was just weird because I was like, man, this joint's probably not gonna go through. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. So the video finally went through, but it just seemed like, wow, there's been a lot of opposition to get in this video up. And I guess when you're talking about things that I'm talking about on this particular album, and the things that I've been reading and researching and studying, it kind of makes sense to me. I don't want to say like, oh, the devil's trying to stop me. Like, who am I? But the devil doesn't like truth and doesn't like it. So I think whenever he's going to oppose truth in any way, shape, or form. And whenever you present truth, particularly the kind of truth I'm presenting on this in musical form, music has a tendency to make things stick with people and affect them in ways get more than like reading a book sometimes or even hearing a lecture. Like music just impresses in our brains and in our hearts rhythms that make us understand things that we sometimes don't always understand. So it has been, bro, like I was telling you earlier, I have been somewhat discouraged at how difficult it has been to get this up and running. I usually have more of a, you know, and some other situations fell through where I thought I was going to go talk about the album in this location here. It may still come to fruition, but it just seemed like, wow, I have never had this much trouble trying to get. I don't know. This is what everyone's going through. It might just be that, or if there really is like, okay, this album is definitely exposing some things that I got to deal with the drama of trying to upload it now.
Yeah.
So here we are.
You
Here we are.
just to let you know, you are freezing up often, and it's kind of a little choppy. I think what you're saying for the most part is still coming through though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. If something changes, I'll just go in. But if you can, as long as you can hear me, because you're freezing too, so I don't know if it's that. But I just, for those of you watching, thank you for hanging out with us. Bear with us. I'm outside in my backyard. Normally, I'm in the house in front of the computer, so it's been just like a tough day, kind of a tough couple days. So I'm just outside. I want to be out because it's not really cold out, so I'm just out here chilling doing this video. So to everybody that's watching live, thank you very much. Hopefully you've watched the video. Hopefully you've shared Natural Born Killers the video. Would love to hear what you think about it and all of that. But the album Killers, well, I kind of knew that was going to happen because you were taking a while to get here. So now I can sit here and look like now it looks like I'm out for both lights went out. Let me see if I can. Wow, this is nuts. Put the phone to my face, looking like the black out Hitchcock. All right. Yeah. See, get that Wi-Fi 6 connection. I'm outside, fam. My house is far away. Right. Man, I can't even see this stuff. All right. I'm gonna take this in the house then. Just get the regular light. I had a feeling these lights were gonna die out. They were on too long before. Hello, my little babushka. All
He's
right.
talking to y'all.
All right, Strack, you entertain the people while I walk.
You want me to entertain? All right, hold on. Let me throw some bars. Let me throw some beats on real quick. Nah, I'm bugging. I ain't doing that right now. Stop playing. What is happening? What is happening? What are we examining right now? We're examining
We are
the palm of
examining
his hand.
lights and batteries that die on too long.
Yeah, I hope we don't. I hope we're
All
not
right, hold
about to
on.
experience a serial killer smiling in a picture. Like
Well, that would be something.
that
That's
would
when you.
be
That's when your
something.
theology becomes. That's when your theology becomes your reality. And that's like, well, I know the Lord, so Whatever the serial
Yep, we'll
killer
need
intends to
some.
do. All right, hold on. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Back into the house. Hold on, back to the grill again. I hope my cat's not right
This
here
is
because he'll run right
serious.
outside.
This is serious movements right now. It's real out here, ladies and gentlemen. Live on Cross Examine.
All right. Well, so much for the
Welcome to
cool
this
looks.
episode of Cribs.
Ah, well, hey, Beezer. Turn this big light off, please. And no one back there. No one back there. What you doing, Baba? I'm doing it. Door open? Yeah, I left it open. Where I was on the deck. I'm still doing the podcast. Oh. There's people watching me live. You guys want to say what's up?
Yeah.
Say what's up? You see Strack right there?
Hey, what's up, Strat?
What's going on?
Well, we
My
can't hear him, though.
homies.
Now you can't hear him now because I can't take the earphone. This is my youngest right
What
here.
up,
This is
though?
my
What up?
this the gangster. Both of them gets the Don Vanita. This the Don Mateo, the Don. What you guys eating?
We're eating pancakes and
Oh, breakfast food. Okay.
yeah, breakfast.
All right, this is real life, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we do it. This is real
Word
life
up.
right here.
See you, Strat.
All right, fellas.
This is real life. This is how we get down. So, you know what I'm saying? All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we are here to talk. This episode will be devoted largely to the process and the concern for the project. Serial Killer Smiling Pictures, coming from schemes of the devil. Strack, thanks for entertaining the people, the party people. So excited here. Any thoughts from you, Strack? You saw the video. Want to take
Yeah.
a second to shout out Dan? What you think of that joint?
Yeah, it was good, man. It was a good video. It was what I've come to expect from you. You know what I'm saying? So and Dan, y'all work good together. You know, it was not a letdown. The colors, it was very vibrant, but it also had like that dark feel. So somehow you was able to make it vibrant and dark at the same time. And it's cool because the message is that way as well. Like, you know, you're trying to shed light on some things, but it is darkness that you're dealing with. So that came across, I think, in the video as well, which is good. I mean, you want the video to match the song. I think it's good. You did a good job, man. Dan did a good job.
Yeah, also shouts to Lou Ciccone. So Lou was the one
Yeah.
who helped me film it. Lou came there and he did. I sat there and rapped, and Lou did the camera work, held the camera. Shot on an iPhone 13 Pro Max, bro.
Yeah, that joint's tough.
That joint, the footage, I mean, the 4K, 24 frames. That joint. Hey, listen, if you got an iPhone, don't sleep, my brother. That iPhone is
I just got
tough.
the 12 plus. How you already get the 13? Like, you be jumping the gun on that joint.
Nah, I mean, well, or why can't it just be you just late? You know what
You
I'm
in the
saying?
club like,
Yeah, why can't it be you late? You know what I'm saying?
I
So,
guess I am. I'm late. Definitely. I'm definitely late because the last joint I had was the 8. So I'm definitely
oh,
late.
fam, what you coming at me for? You know
Yeah,
what
I'm
I'm saying?
definitely late. But you
Nah,
ain't
this
late
is
at all. I mean, you be on it.
annually because of the technology we use. We use the technology. So let me talk a little bit about why natural born killers and in the video. So the song is, if you watch the song and you watch the video and you look at all of the different ways that violence is portrayed, the beginning of the video, this is a true stat. At least this was true. If this is wrong, this is not my understanding. Is this is a true stat that America is 5% of the population, but has documented 67% of the serial killers have been in America. So we hear names like Jack the Ripper and stuff, but that was over in the UK. Like the
Right.
60%, 67% of serial killers are in the United States. And I thought that was a fascinating reality. We have the highest prison percent, people locked up in prison. All these different things about. I thought this was an interesting reality So at the beginning of the video, the question is posed, the fact is posed, and then the question why, and then the video tries to show why. And the point of the video, Natural Born Killers, there's both a theological element that we are sinful in terms of our disposition based on Genesis 3, but that's not really where I'm coming from. But that's a true fact. You see Cain and Abel, Lamech, you see violence and murder are some of the first real sins that we see take place.
Right.
But the concern that I'm coming from is less theological though, and more sociological. That in America, most of what entertains us is violence. We are entertained by violence. And so, in that sense, because we're drawn to violence and we're entertained by violence, I mean, most of my favorite movies are violent. Like Scarface is one of my favorite movies for the longest time, and Scarface is violent. What happens is in America, we're so entertained by violence that we're largely desensitized to it,
Right.
right? So there's a desensitization. So I'm not here to like make everyone feel bad. Listen, I am drawn to action films and mafia movies and street movies, but when I step back and think, okay, what's happening here? Why is this taking place? When you look at the culture as a whole, there's this sense that what I watch, what I listen to doesn't really affect me. Like just because I don't immediately watch Silence of the Lambs and think I want to go be Hannibal Lecter, right? That's not how things work. Like the way that the enemy works is not by you watch something and then go imitate it right away. It's that you get familiar with it to such a degree that you don't really care about it when it happens. So now you're able to participate, to watch, to cheer on things that when you step back and think like, wow, that's really crazy, it becomes what you accept both in entertainment, and then once it entertains you, it becomes what you accept in society. And so
Right.
a lot of Natural Born Killers was really just trying to give you an experience where you're just inundated with like all this stuff and questions of why is it like this? How do we become like this? And then you see these images where you're like, whoa, okay, wow. You see them, all people watching them, children,
So
adults, all of it.
so you would say it was more about the consumers and their fascination with such things versus the serial killers themselves.
Well, yeah, the song wasn't, yeah, the song, yeah, definitely, because the song is talking about why are we natural born killers, not just
Right.
serial killers, but just humanity.
Right.
Is that in many ways we're just desensitized to violence. And so let's think about this sociologically in the last recent years. A lot of the fighting over race and politics, think about what that stuff it really is. The ability to do that, like if you really stop and look at some of these marches of like, okay, a guy got killed, but now you're like tearing down buildings because of it, right? Or you storm the Capitol because you're unhappy about, and you do it with the intent to commit physical violence. It wasn't like, hey, we want to be heard. It was, where are the Democrats at? We want to kill
Right.
them. We want to hurt them. The propensity to do something like that and its escalation is really a product of living in a culture where we're desensitized to both the destruction of violence and also the consequences of it, right? So this is why police kill a black dude, let's go riot and burn down the building, but we're not thinking that that fire may actually spread and destroy some of the other homes in the neighborhood of people that you don't want, or you might
Right.
not realize that, hey, there's a black guy, older black guy trying to protect one of the stores and he gets killed, right?
Right.
There's that we're desensitized to the
David
consequences
Dorn.
of violence, right? We're
Right.
desensitized to the consequences of violence, and so even like like the Kyle Rittenhouse trial was incredible to me from this lens that people are trying to use this kid as a hero for shooting a few people, right? Like, granted, I'm not here to justify whether he was wrong or right. That's not the issue. I've already said if I were him, I would have shot them dudes too based on the circumstances. But the reality to me is what you have is a celebration of this kid who murdered three people, who killed four people, three people, injured one, a celebration of him, and all in the name of sort of like the Second Amendment, which is really the right to bear arms and to have guns, all that stuff. We fight over these things. We're talking about believers too, right?
Hmm.
There is this affinity for the ability to act violently if I should so choose. I have a right because having a gun isn't just it's not just I can defend myself. It's a violent act you're going to commit regardless, right? So it's this sense of the ability to have the right to commit a violent act is my right as an American. And we see this play out throughout history. And so now we find ourselves as a nation. Facebook uses this to their advantage where they hate speech. You see this animosity growing, vitriol, people, I'm talking about believers insulting each other. All of it is due to a deeper issue where we're just kind of desensitized to the destruction of violence and the consequences of it.
Yeah.
And here we
I
find ourselves like crazy.
we do gotta the whole violent act, the right to commit a violent act. Um, there's a difference between the right to just commit a violent act and the right to defend yourself, to protect yourself against violence. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a major difference there.
Yeah, but true. But let's talk about that because I would agree with you, but I think you're defending something that I'm not attacking. So let's talk about it because what I'm
Now,
saying is
I'm not saying you
I'm
attacking it. I'm just the verbiage
yeah
leaves room for that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that's not clear enough. It's kind of like, okay, it's a violent act. It's the right to commit a violent act.
hmm
Yeah, but it's kind of stopping short of the right to commit a violent act in case you're actually having to protect yourself.
yeah, but the
You know what I
majority of
mean?
people who have gun strike have never had to protect themselves. We're acting like we live in a barbaric society where the right, like you've never had to use your gun that I know of. I know many people that have guns that have never had to use them and never were even attacked before getting a gun. So yeah, you do want to say I have a right to defend myself, cool. But you can defend yourself without a firearm as well. I've defended myself in plenty of situations without a gun near me, and if someone's attacking you, you're going by any means necessary. You're going to use trees, branch, whatever you can, right? Most of the people that have guns have never been attacked, have never had anything happen to them. I could see if it was a response of this happened to me and now I'm strapping up to defend myself. Totally get it. But most of the people, the majority of the people that are defending the right to bear arms have never been attacked, not even by an animal.
Yeah,
So,
I mean
right,
that
you
that
do have a right to defend yourself, but there aren't people who think about it just like that, bro. There are people who, I know people who struggle with having guns because it feels like, man, I know I have friends who have guns that are like, I gotta be careful because that gun is just like, it's powerful. You can just take somebody's life and you feel that. I've had police
yeah,
officers talk
you
about
should. You
the
should
power
feel
of
that
that.
way.
So,
For sure.
so my statement is not saying that's the only way, but that's a perspective on the First Second Amendment. It's not just what you're describing as the right to bear arms. It's also the right to commit a violent act. It goes hand in hand. Whether you're defending yourself might be an approval of the violent act, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. Using a gun, if you shoot someone, that's not a non-violent act. It doesn't matter if it's self-defense or not. That's the point I'm making. It's not about whether the Second Amendment is right or wrong. It's about the
Well,
action
it
that
does.
comes from.
What makes it matter is the word violence and
Hmm
act, the way they sound. You know what I'm saying in today's
hmm
society. That's what makes it matter. You know what I mean? Like when you say violent act and that's it, then you leave it with a negative connotation. It's a violent
but even
act.
if that's what I say, like that's me though. Like I don't have to qualify everything about the Second Amendment to make some people feel like that's not what I'm saying. Like if that's how you take that or somebody else takes it, so what? Like I'm allowed to think that that's a violent act. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's a violent act. I didn't speak to the morality of it. I said it's a right to if I defend myself and I shoot and kill someone, that's a violent action. I shot and killed this person. That's a
Yeah.
violent action. So I'm speaking to the objective truth of what it is, not the moral truth of it. I'm not saying a violent act is necessarily wrong. There are times we defend ourselves, right? Jesus told his disciples, take a couple swords with you, right? But it's still a violent act. It's a violent action that I'm taking regardless. And our society is drawn towards that, I think, in negative ways, in ways that are actually sinful. So I'm not saying my statement is not a morality of the Second Amendment. It's describing the objective reality when that happens, when it's used in a way. Kyle, that was a violent act that Kyle Rittenhouse did. Whether the law said he had a right to do it, I tend to agree. In that situation, he shouldn't have been there, but that's not what's on trial. Should he have gone there or not, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's still objectively, it's a violent act. The death penalty is a violent act, even if it's legal, right? It's a violent act. Like this person is going to be injected or electrocuted, whatever it is, it's still a violent act. And that's what I think America as a whole, we have the most serial killers because we celebrate that. That's a part of what we do. That's a part of who we are as Americans. So you got from the Wild West to when in the 50s you had kids wanting to be Billy the Kid and Doc Holliday and all the Clint Eastwood movies, and they were all just you got the and again I've appreciated these things. I'm not here saying, oh, these are morally wrong. What I'm saying is, wow, we're more affected by these things than we give ourselves credit for. And the propensity to be a natural born killer is connected to something much bigger and broader than what I did in the song. The song was just, you gotta remember, that's one song and one video in the puzzle of an album. So a lot of the stuff will be flushed out on the album. In fact, that's the second song on the album. So that's the beginning of the narrative of the album Serial Killer Smiling Pictures.
So how do you come up with a song like Natural Born Killers? What's the process?
Uh, so that particular song. So there was a movie, Natural Born Killers, in 1994, right?
Right. Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson, yeah. And so that movie was basically about two people who have experienced significant trauma.
Mm-hmm.
They fall in love and become mass murderers.
Yep.
And then you see the worship of them. So Natural Born Killers, the song actually is a sort of a double entendre where I'm describing what I think is a general evaluation of humanity that we're natural born killers, right? We're naturally drawn to violence. But then also it's really a poke at the movie where it's not just that we're drawn to violent acts ourselves, we are drawn to appreciate and celebrate people who do these things.
Right.
So like for me and you, our background in hip hop will be more like we're drawn to the gangsters, right? We're drawn to the dudes the dudes who would keep it real, right? That was a phrase that was largely a part of what hip hop was. Let's
Right.
keep it real. And keep it real meant, you got your strap with your killer dude, all of that. And we whether we want to acknowledge or not, we idolize those people. We wanted to be like them. We like their raps were more real than this guy who's talking about he's a dope MC. At some point, hip hop switched, and it was really in the late '80s when NWA came out. Is when you started to shift from rap being about like being the best MC and you a suck MC to like I kill you. You know what I'm saying? So the celebration of the serial killers and natural born killers is one problem, but then the propensity to do that. So what I was trying to do with the song was create a song that how can I in one song capture an observation that I make on the album, and how can I do it in such a way that represents what this album is. What this album is. Serial Killer Smiling Pictures is the album, but if I would describe what is it, it's three words. It's musical, spiritual warfare. That's what Serial Killer Smiling Pictures is. I wanted the video to feel chaotic and to feel like overwhelming with nothing but just because that in one sense is actually what we experience on some level
Right.
in this country, but we're so desensitized to it and that our morale is affected by it. So that's
It's
why we're
definitely
quicker to
chaotic.
it's chaotic. And I wanted
Mm.
to capture that chaos in one song because if no one ever hears the album, then they have that one video. All they saw is a video. then that one video at least makes you question, like, wow, yeah, now that I think about it. So, like, even the line I'm talking about Drake. Remember back when Drake was soft rapping and singing then? Now it's mob ties and knife talk for Benjamins. So, like, remember when Drake came out? Best I ever had. Best, he was a soft dude from
Right.
Canada.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, dudes got talking about, mob ties, knife talk. He'll shoot this, he'll kill. It's like, what happened to you, bro? How did you all of a sudden become this dude who needs to be tough? Because that's the culture you're in, right?
Yeah, he was
You've
trying to
been up,
fit the genre. Yeah, he was trying to fit.
you fit in it, you fit in it. Yeah, that's so Natural Born Killers really, and that wasn't necessarily going to be the first single, but then when I finished the album, I was like, you know what? This is the single.
So
This
that's
is
the
the
one that
single.
spoke to it.
Well, I felt like this is the one that if nothing else, like, so to me, bro, music is about moments, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
this, I don't think people think this way about music, but this is why music matters to people. I personally think I'm a better rapper than like a Kanye West. I really believe that. I believe I put albums together better than a lot of people. I'm not going to be false, I think I would put what this album, Serial Killers, Smiling Pictures. When you listen to it, how it's put together, all of it. I think I'm a better artist and rapper than other guys. But no one would ever agree with that, mostly, because if nothing else, even if it was objectively true, like this album is better than his album, he's given you so many moments, right? When people think about who their favorite artist is, it's usually not just the music, but the moment, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yep.
this song, what it got me through. When I heard Jay Z's Blueprint, 2001, that joint dropped on 9/11, bro.
Right. Right.
That was the album I was smoking weed to and rocking to as the world was falling apart, or the country was at least, right?
Yeah.
So so music is about giving people moments. It's not just about music, and at least it used to be. And so for me, when I drop an album, or I really put a lot of work into it, like this album, seriously, I want to give people moments. Music is about moments. So when I thought about Natural Born Killers, the video and the song, I was like, okay, I want to make this a moment. I want people to watch this video and be like, wow, this is crazy. I want it to be a moment. I want you to feel something when you hear that.
Yeah.
And
It
even the
definitely has that
play,
momentous vibe.
and even the play on it, like that Natural Born
Right.
Killers, kind of like playing around,
We in the
like I'm
club, like.
right, right,
Yeah.
right, just having fun with it like that. But in the middle is that killers, like the realness of what we're saying and doing. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of
Yeah. I
how it
think.
comes together.
I think. What you was alluding to with the whole like momentous thing, like a moment in time that this song fit
Hmm.
to, or this genre, whatever. I think part of that plays into what affects like almost the connection between generations in hip hop, because you have
Hmm.
like let's say a Nas, for example, back in the day with Illmatic, the parents are like, yo, that's the illest Nas ever, you know what I'm saying? And then the young boys might hear his new joint like King's Disease or something and be like, yo, this is popping. And the old head's like, nah, you don't know Nas. Nas was ill with Illmatic. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
And it
yeah.
kind of creates this generational gap between what's hot, what's
Hmm.
not, that don't necessarily need to be there because Nas has progressed. You know what I'm saying? He's a
Right,
different MC
right,
than he used to be. You know,
right.
so that definitely plays into that. I see moments definitely come along with, like, I have a line in one of the songs I just wrote that talk about you underestimate what a song do. You know what I'm saying? Like, people
Right.
underestimate what a song can do to people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
songs and music have been used as propaganda throughout the ages, to
Right.
drive and move people certain ways. You know what I'm saying? So when you present the truth in song, it has that effect. So but yeah, my bad. I went on my little soapbox real quick.
No, no, that's real. But that's what I'm saying. Like music really is about presenting people moments. And
Right.
your favorite artist will not be, there'll be people who have given you the most moments, not people
Right.
who are the best skilled or the best, technical, that they can do all the. Nah, like you can appreciate that, but
Yeah.
the person who, and that's why the number one, the GOAT is subjective, right? Even though there might be a lot of people that say either Jay or this guy or that guy, Eminem or whoever, right? You're gonna big or a lot
Yeah.
of
It's
that's gonna
always
be like,
subjective.
it's subjective because it's gonna be about who gave you the most moments.
Right. So
And
what
so I
about
try to do that.
What about the writing process though for this joint specifically? Like what's the writing process for a song like this?
So to me, songs are chapters of a larger narrative, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is my second albumentary. So this is the first albumentary was about race. It was sociological. It was the appendix in 2018. I haven't done another album like that since then. This album is a shorter version. It's not 2 hours and 20 minutes, right?
Right.
This album can fit on one CD, like we still listen to CDs. So, but it is an albumentary. So when I write albumentaries, I don't know how you write, but whenever you're writing an album and you're trying to create a narrative, a story, I can't write in order, right? So I might write this song. I know it's going to go towards the end of the album. This song is going to be number three. This song is going to be five. So because I have the luxury of writing like that, Natural Born Killers was something I wrote as one of the last songs on the album. It was like one of the last two recording sessions at Will's house. And the way it fits is I already have other pieces of what I want to communicate.
Right.
I've already said certain things. So when I'm working on Natural Born Killers, it's like, okay, I what do I need to say that I haven't said yet?
Right.
Like, okay, here's the theme: serial killers smiling pictures. Okay, I've hit this, I've hit that, I've hit this, I've explained that. What haven't I explained yet? And I need something at the beginning of the album that will set it in motion. So it becomes, oh, this is a general thought. Natural Born Killers becomes something general. So again, it's okay, how does this work? So when I'm writing this song, it's fitting, it's a puzzle for me. When I'm doing an album like this, it's a puzzle. Okay, oh, okay, this goes right here. All right, let me put this right here. And so now I know how to write because I
Right.
know where this is going to be on the puzzle. Just like if you were painting, you're doing a puzzle, right? Okay, this part I'm gonna paint this color because this is the back of the house or whatever, and
Yeah.
then this part I'm gonna paint. It's the same thing for me. It's
Yeah, I
like this is
got
the
you.
puzzle. It's the
So
puzzle. Okay.
would you say you experimented a lot in this joint, in this album?
Sure. I think this album will give people the um yeah, I would say that.
Okay.
It's funny. So you would know this, but I don't know if everyone knows this, and maybe they do. But in 2017, a friend of mine introduced me to a podcast called Dissect. And I'd never heard of this podcast. I don't know why we were having this conversation. We were talking about Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly that came out, I think, in 2015.
Yeah.
And he was telling me what he thought it meant. And I was like, man, that album was wild. Like I like Kendrick and I like what he does, but I just couldn't track with the album that well. And then he started explaining what the album was about, and I didn't believe him because my friend is kind of like a wild dude. He be just saying
Right.
stuff.
Right.
So I was like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. That album didn't mean that. So he puts me hip to this podcast.
Who
This
breaks it
podcast is
down?
called Dissect, and it's by
Right.
Cole Kushner. And that podcast changed my life as an artist. And once I listened to that podcast, I realized, you know what? I don't know how many more albums I'm going to do. I mean, I don't, the rap doesn't need me. It's not like, if I stop rapping, people are like, man, where's Kirk Kennedy at? Like, I'm not, we all
Oh,
are
there
going to be
will be
done at some
people
point.
that do that.
Sure, they're
There,
going to be
there, there
people. Yeah,
most
yeah, yeah.
certainly
But what I'm
will.
saying is, it's not like the rap culture is like, man, we need another Kennedy album. No, there will be people who feel that way, individuals, sure. But I was thinking, man, before I'm done rapping, I wanna write albums that make people think about my albums like this.
Hmm.
Like I want to do music that is just that means something. I want to make music that matters.
Right.
And if you think about if you look at it today, right? Think about the music today. So you got a large part of rap music is very melodic, very auto tunes, all that type of stuff. And a lot of these guys sound the same. I mean, they sound different, but it's the same style. Little Baby, Lil Durk, Roddy Rich, Ace Boogie with the hoodie, Young White, Young Boy, MB, never broke again. All these dudes all have a same sound. And there's a lot of music, bro, that you can, if you're honest, if you're being honest, there's a lot of music that you can just be like, oh, if I want to listen to stuff like this, I can listen to this also. I don't gotta listen to this artist. I can also listen to this because they do almost the same thing. Or I don't gotta listen to Roddy Ricch. I can listen to Juice World. He does a lot of singing and melodic stuff too, right? I can listen to this guy. A lot of people think like that. I wanted to make music where it's like, you know what? I can't get this kind of stuff from anywhere else but Kirk Kennedy. Like I can't go and listen to someone else because they're gonna talk about the same stuff and maybe do it better. Like you can't. That's the one thing I wanted to do was say, and so by doing that, I created what I think is a genre for myself. I wasn't trying to. Someone told me this, and I was like, wow, I didn't think about it. But discernment rap, I've created a genre that's really about, and a lot of people, well, I'm trying to be discernment too, but no, I'm really trying to help you see, like, do you see this? Let's unpack this. Let's pull back the layers. And I want you to be like, man, I can't get this anywhere else. There's a lot of rap, even like if you like, punches and boom bap. There's a ton of dudes you can get that from. I just listened to an album yesterday by a dude named Refs, spitting, got bars on it, got a lot of features, spitting. I can get that from him. I can get it from from Bundy the Butcher. I can get it from this. You can't get what I'm bringing you anywhere else but me. And that's what this podcast did was it made me feel like how do I communicate so that people think of my music the way he thinks of Kendrick's album. And
Right.
that led to me experimenting with my voice, doing some of the things that I picked that I saw Kendrick doing. I really appreciated him changing his vocals and doing things. But I figured out how does that work for me?
Yeah,
I don't have the same skill set.
you got the one track on there where you was like almost singing the whole song.
On Serial Killer Smiling Pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was.
I can't remember what the name of the song is either because of the file you gave me. But
Yeah, but yeah, like you just I'm willing and I think you have to do that because in this day and age, right? Think about in this day and age, what you have is you have people like a lot of features, right? You'll buy an album and it has a ton of features on them, especially
right,
on the secular side. On the sacred side too, but but I don't. So instead of so you got either one or two things. You can give people a bunch of features, or you can change up your style and make yourself the feature.
right.
And I said, let me do that instead of having to depend. And I do have some features on there, but I thought, let me do this so that I'm learning how to stretch myself and make myself a better artist. And that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what that's what happened.
Yeah, I've been doing that for years, man. I got fed up like waiting on people and all of that nonsense
Hmm.
and I'm surrounded by a lot of good dudes now that I'm able to pull on no problem. You know what I'm saying? But there was a
Right.
time period where it wasn't like that. So I would definitely just do all my stuff that most people would be like, "Oh, I needed somebody to do this for me." I just do it,
Right.
and try my best to do it and work it out. And if it sounds cool, then keep it. That's just the
Yeah.
reality of it.
I just think I think you get to a point in your life where you really want like being a real MC used to be about having your style and sticking
Hmm.
to it and finding music that accentuates your style. And now I think being a real MC is not having a style at all and
Yeah.
just kind of doing what the song requires for. Instead of
Right.
back in the day, it was taking a beat and rapping over it, right? And
Right.
making the beat submit to your style. I think now you get to a point where it's like, you know what? Let me submit to the beat. Like, what is the
Right.
beat asking me to do? What is it commanding me to say or do over this joint? That it
And that's
changed in
what
that sense.
the greats say. The greats in
Hmm.
hip hop, they all say the same thing. Like they allow the beat to kind of lead them and guide them in the song.
Yeah.
What's their entrance gonna sound like? What's their hook gonna
Right.
sound like?
Hmm.
All the different changes in the rhyme schemes. What do they just flow to the different aspects of the beat. So
Yeah.
that's the way we
All that
should be.
matters. All that stuff
Yeah.
matters. Yeah. All that matters. And so that's what people get on this album, man. I think people will get here content and creativity that they're not going to get elsewhere. And nothing
Nice.
else. Even if I don't have to be your favorite rap, I don't even that stuff is so I don't even care about that stuff anymore. What I know is that you're not going to get this content and this creativity anywhere else. So
So
I'm
let
not trying to be anyone's favorite rapper. I'm just trying to make sure I give you a moment and something to
Right.
think about.
So let me ask you, why do you think serial killers smile in pictures?
You have to listen to the album to find out. You know, so you got to hear the album. But I mean,
That's
I think
wild.
that I'll say the easy answer is that they're just demonic.
Yeah.
They're demonic. I mean, it's really like this album. I'll say this. This album does remind us that we don't wrestle with flesh and blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've really gotten to a point where we view a lot of the Christian life as, or just our life in general, as flesh and blood, right?
Right.
It's the left. It's the left. They're just trying to ruin the country. No, it's the right. They just support white supremacy and racism. It's this. It's these people. It's the white privileged folks. No, it's the social justice warriors. It's the LGBT community. It's always flesh and blood. And I think we need to remember, as believers, we need to remember that it's a little bit more serious than that for us. And so
Yeah.
when you talk about serial killers smiling in pictures, that's just the level of the demonic sense that they have, that they can just, they're so comfortable with evil and so desensitized to the consequences and the destruction of evil that they can smile after killing you.
Yeah. I
But
mean, it's wild because in a way, our with our fascination of them, we smile right back. You know. Yeah.
bro, but that's what you're going to get. That's the thing we have to consider, right?
Right.
That's part of it. It's like it's not just those who kill,
Yeah.
it's those who are fascinated by the people that kill.
Even a show like Dexter. You ever watch Dexter?
Yep,
It's
yep. I
wild, right?
watched the first
It.
season first, and I remember being like, man, this dude is like, it's funny because shouts to Norm Dunham. Norm did a video, a first reaction video to my video, and he mentioned in his video that he was wondering how could any believers watch Dexter because it's really rooting for a serial killer.
Yeah.
Like, and
Who's
that's
who's
why in
he's a killer killing other killers.
right,
That's
and that's
basically
why in
so
the
he becomes
song,
the so-called good guy amongst the
right.
serial killers.
Well, that's why I say in the song, like, how is Batman a hero when he's violent at times, right? Like,
Right.
Batman is known as sort of like the one who kind of crosses the line, right? Where he, at least in the comics and stuff, and maybe
Hmm.
the Dark Knight, that Batman with Christian Bale was a little bit more like, I'll
Or
kill a
maybe the
couple of dudes.
Punisher. The Punisher might have been a better example. The Punisher is
Yeah,
a
right. Yeah,
hero,
the
but that
Punisher,
dude be murking cats on the
man,
reggies.
left and right, right.
Yeah,
So again, but the Punisher doesn't have the same draw as Batman, right? But
that's true.
the reality is, yeah, man, it's just that, and the sense of serial killers that can smile in pictures is like, yeah, why? I mean, on one level, why wouldn't they? Because people are fascinated by them. When
That's
you
wild.
hear,
Yeah.
when you guys hear the album, there's a point in the album where you're going to be shocked at what you hear on the album. There's going to be a couple points on this album where you're going to be like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of doing an albumentary, right? That the beauty of it is I take music and then I take clips from different things and connect these dots to give you a sort of a picture of what I'm seeing and what I'm exposing. And there are going to be
Right.
times on this project that you're going to hear stuff and be like, that's crazy.
Hmm.
There's no way. That's crazy. And it's like, hey, this is reality.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping that people really walk away with. One of the things people walk away with.
That's good. That's good. I'm excited, man. I think I'm excited to hear what the feedback is from people who really listen. You know, from your fans and
Yeah,
everybody out there. This is what number 14 for you? Album 14?
I think so. Like 14 or 15. I have to think about it. I can't remember.
Hmm. Okay. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's like four.
14 and 15 with what's coming next, right? Don't you got a
Oh
little
yeah,
work? You
yeah, yeah,
got
yeah.
a
Right,
piece
right,
of
right,
work.
right, right,
You know
right.
what I mean?
Right, yeah. It could be. I gotta think about. Someone else asked me that earlier, and I said I think it's 14. So I got six his voice, and I think I can kind of got I got five his voice, and then I got
So back to the album with as far as the title and everything. and what you're dealing with the content, with the schemes of Satan and everything, and how we're affected by media, and
Hmm.
um, how does this? How do you? What encouragement can you give the church in light of the project? With what's going on, like being that it may have a feel that some people within the church want to stay away from. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the
Hmm.
whole serial killers aspect of it.
Hmm.
So, in what way can people look to be encouraged through this project?
Mm, yeah, I mean, I would, to answer this, it would give away something that I want people to experience. But
Okay.
um, here's what I'll say. I'll just say this: the the eternal reality is that the Lord, the Lord provided salvation through violence,
Yeah.
and that's all I'm gonna say.
A
I'm
violent
gonna just,
act.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave it at that. That's where the church is gonna get led to that point to really understand what it is. And let me say this too. Like I don't expect everyone to listen to. I'm cool with that. Like it's always been that way for me. Like I'm not. If people stay away from it because the serial killer is cool, I think you're just gonna miss out on quality music, good album.
For
Listen
sure.
to the same stuff. Listen to the same stuff you've been listening to. But the reality is, like, we're living in a dark world right now. Like
Yeah.
this is the most challenging. And it's not just because of COVID. It's just like we've joked about this on previous episodes where I said, man, it just feels like that pink ooze from the
Yeah.
Ghostbusters 2 movie. It's just
Yep.
making people more mean. I think that's just the reality. Like, I think there's going to be people who we're just living in a dark time, brother. Like, this is
Yeah.
not. So you can avoid my album, but you can't avoid the insults on Twitter,
Yeah.
and
You
you
can't
can't
avoid
avoid the
reality.
you can't avoid reality. So I'm giving you a way to understand what's happening from a biblical perspective, but creative. Like it's not like this just preaching, teaching, like don't do this and get off Facebook and lick that. That's not the answer to me. It's
Right.
more. So I'm giving you perspective in a creative way that can help you process what's happening and see it for what it is. So again, I know some people may be not drawn to it. I mean, I don't I thought about that when I put the video out. I was like, you know what? Some people might not be drawn to this because of what I'm saying about it, and they
Right.
just don't want to. And that's like, all right, I'm gonna take that chance. I'm gonna take a chance. I think
I
in
always
the
want to
test
hear
of
what you're
time that'll
doing.
happen.
I always want to hear what you're doing because I know you always want to push the envelope. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
always want to go beyond just what you hear doing, and that's what people who create great things. That's the way they think. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that's why I'm always interested to hear what you got coming next because I know you're not scared to push that button and go beyond to get your message across, which ultimately is the message of Christ. Christ is
Yeah,
our only hope. I'm always looking to see how you're doing that. So I'm looking forward to hearing it a few times over to really absorb it. The way I've done with your other projects.
yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely going to be. I mean, it's funny though because it's you you know what I kind of feel like sometimes. This is overstating who I am, obviously, but I kind of feel like Jeremiah, right? Like Jeremiah, they call him the weeping prophet, where he was Jeremiah was sent by God to tell the his people that judgment's coming. Like you're going to be
Right.
taken into captivity, and then you have these false prophets that were like, "Nah, don't listen to that. Like God is fine with you, and He's going to bless you." And then
Right.
Jeremiah was like, "Nah, man. He's saying judgment is coming. The Assyrians they coming, right? All this stuff." There are times, and again, I don't know how Jeremiah felt. So when I say this, you know what I mean by this. But there
Yeah.
are times I feel like Jeremiah.
Yeah.
I feel like, man, I'm really, really like even the whole stay balanced stuff. Like people just got offended, and because people don't realize that, and maybe I didn't do the best job because over time I've grown in what I mean by that. But for most people, stay balanced meant stay neutral politically because I don't
Yeah,
want to take a
yeah.
position.
That's what people assumed.
Yeah, stay balanced to me was always about the kingdom, which kingdom
Right,
I'm a part of.
right,
I'm balanced because I live in this kingdom, but I live for another kingdom.
right,
And so I need to stay balanced here because I know that all the stuff that we're fighting over here doesn't have eternal value.
right,
It's only good for eternity in terms of evaluating what you did in the midst of it, right?
right, right,
But it's
right.
not necessary. So I've always realized,
Staying balanced was more about keeping your feet upon the rock. You know,
right, exactly.
that's really what
And
staying
not
balanced
being,
was.
yep, yep, and not being so swayed
Right,
by what's happening horizontally that
right,
I'm willing to forget my responsibility vertically, right?
right. Yep.
That's what was happening. That's what I was pushing back against with stay balanced, and I realized that I realized that that's going to be the that's been the challenge for me is that of all of it. So all that to say, man, I'm excited. I think even though the how I thought this album was going to roll out is not what happened. So I was a little disappointed. I was talking to you earlier about that, a little discouraged because I had what I thought was going to be a really serious rollout, and it affected the way I put the album together, even and the decisions I made the last couple months, and that didn't work out. And then all the challenges with getting it on Facebook and stuff. But I am glad that I'm excited because with music, like I don't worry about first week sales, right? There are times I've got more money 3 or 4 months afterwards, if it's even a money thing. But this album, normally when I drop an album, I don't put it out for streaming
Yeah.
because
No.
because I know that if no matter what, even if people like you, most people are going to just download it for free.
Yeah.
So if I put it out for streaming, I know I'm not going to get any money from it. And it's not about money to me, but I feel like I work really hard to present. Like when we put albums out, it's not free.
Right. Yeah.
Like I got to pay money, I got to buy beats, I got to go
It's
to
an
the studio, I got to
investment.
pay to get it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
an
an
investment,
investment
brother. It's an investment.
of time most importantly, but then
Time and
also of
money,
your
man. And
finances.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's an investment. So I tend to want to get my money back, or at least some of it, before I release it.
Of
But this
course.
album, I just decided not to. I just decided that one, I thought I was going to have a different rollout, which would have made that the audience I'm reaching would have been more exposed to it. But two, I felt like, you know what? What I'm saying on this album is way more important than if I make any money from it.
For sure.
And I've always felt that way, but I felt like from a stewardship responsibility, I need to try to make some of that money back.
Yeah.
I would love to make some of the money back from this, but that's not this album. What I'm saying on this album is I think important enough that it warrants if people giving people the ultimate access to it,
Right.
which means like, okay, a lot of people are just going to stream it, even if they've always bought my albums, they're going to stream it, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know
Yeah.
what, it's worth it. It's worth it. I'll put the
Yeah.
album on
That's how I
Bandcamp.
used to
Some people go
feel
there and buy it, but
back in the day when we used to do a lot of evangelism. You know, we would pull up on the blocks and the streets and pull out. We had like this. Our old church we went through had a truck that had like a stage that would drop down off the side of it. And we would pull up and
hmm
just start hitting the mic, you know what I mean, for people and then
right,
preach, you know what I mean, as well, like evangelism. And when we would do that, very similar. You know what I'm saying? I forget.
hmm
It was just we would hand out the CDs that like we would
hmm
let people burn the copies and make copies and give them out because we knew, listen, it's more important the message that gets out there. You know, if you're handing
hmm
somebody a CD, this is
hmm
back in the day of CDs, you know what I mean? But to
right,
me, it's
right,
similar. That's what streaming is because we make so little off of streaming. It's basically just building up clout if you really press
yeah,
on it and do it hard. You know what I'm saying? But that takes
right,
work as well, man. You got to be on top of it with media, on top of media, on top of media on the regular to build up Spotify and all of that stuff. Or you buy
right,
bots, you know,
right.
like
Which
some
I'm not
people have
doing
done.
either. Like I just feel like
Nah,
however the Lord uses, He uses it.
for sure.
Um, so there is. I want to say a couple more things before we get off on this. There is. So this album, there are two versions to this album. One is dropping tomorrow. The other is not coming out until January. So, which I thought was unique, interesting. Like you know how secular artists like Kanye and other French Montana all these artists been dropping these albums and then the deluxe version of the album,
Right.
which I thought was interesting. And so you got the album, and then you buy the deluxe, which has more songs or remixes of the songs. So I'm not doing the deluxe in a sense, but when I was working on this album, it initially started off as just me wanting to talk about like bars and punches and just I just was using the title as just something different. But then when I started to really research stuff about serial killers, the album became a story I need to share, a
Right.
documentary, an albumentary. So it's an album slash documentary. I need to present this material.
Yeah.
So all the songs that were more just like me just being a little bit more punches and bars, I ended up moving to the side and have enough for another version of this album. So I'm calling it this the album tomorrow is more the contemporary hip hop sound.
Right.
And then the version I'm dropping in January is more classic hip hop. And by classic, like I don't say boom bap because boom bap, when I think of boom bap, I think of like KRS One type beats. Like it's not that, but it's East Coast New York rap in the '90s vibe. It has
And
more
boom
beats
bap
like
is
that.
taking on a whole nother like.
Yeah, it's
I
just a
mean,
different vibe. And
it's still traditional to the hit. You know what I'm saying? Like that
right,
same, doom 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 doom
yeah,
doom doom. You know that same,
yeah,
but it's changing. You know what I mean? There's so many different layers to the beats now. It's just
right,
changing. People are
yeah,
getting more experimental with their style,
right,
but it's still boom bap though. It still has
right,
that same soulful feel. You know what I mean? And it's
right.
more about
Yeah,
the
so
lyricism.
right, yeah. The next album will be like that. The second version. So someone in the comment section asked, "Yeah, me and Strack have a song on that one. That's on the other version. We got a song called Tribe on that, and then I do have a song. Strack is on this album, but I don't want to give it away on what this album is, what you're on in this album. So I do have some of that. But the next album will be completely different feel, same title with different spelling. So this is Serial Killers, Killers. The one that drops late January will be Serial Killers, Killas.
You would do that.
So that's going to drop, and that's going to have a different feel. But it's not going to tell the same narrative. So it assumes that you've heard the first album, so you've heard the narrative of Serial Killer Smiling Pictures. So then I can cover other things on that side,
Right.
right? So things that I like prime example, Natural Born Killers was essentially like, okay, we're desensitized to evil on one level, to the point where it's entertaining to us.
Right.
But on the other album, there's a song called Desensitized. So I can really flush things out in ways that I might just do visually here or this. And this one's going to be a little bit more creative in terms of what I'm doing, the way I'm building, connecting songs together. The other version is not an albumentary. It's really just songs and some songs do overlap. So there will be some songs on both projects.
So what you
But
telling
this,
us is you do two albums by accident. That's
I
what you're
did.
telling us.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's what happens when you do like when you're used to doing projects that are 29, 32 songs deep. You do two albums by accident. Like you start off like, yeah, I'm gonna do a joint like 13, 14 songs, and it's gonna be lyrical, boom bap type style. And before you know it, you got an albumentary and you got that in your pocket. That's
Right.
ridiculous.
But you know what it is? And I'm not, I hope this doesn't offend anyone who likes the boom bap style. Because I'm not, because that's your thing, Scott. I love you in that lane. Like I
Yeah, that's
love
my
that you're
bag.
that lane. But like to me, a lot of that stuff, that music doesn't matter to me. It's not music that I feel like stands the test of time. It's just stuff that people like to hear in the moment, or the people that are from that era that appreciate that. It's a bit of nostalgia. Like and so there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, the kind of artist that I am, it's important for me to make music that matters. It's like, and I'm not saying when you don't think your
Yeah, I
music
was about to
matters.
say, I know you can't I cannot let you say it don't stand the test of time. Like you
Mm.
can't say that.
Well, the Sure, the songs do, but the message of the albums don't, though. So
What
to
albums
me,
though? That's the like you're talking
well, it
about
just
like
depends. I mean, there's a
90s hip
various.
hop or you talking about Christian hip hop?
Sure,
Like this.
uh, either. Like I think I can like okay, if I want to get like, if I'm thinking of like boom bap type, like I can listen to. I love Mob Deep's some of the Mob Deep's albums,
Mm-hmm.
but thematically they don't stand the test of time. They're just songs that I bang with. Even like Jay-Z albums, they don't all stand the test of time. They don't have a thematic draw to them that I'm like, oh man, this theme is still resonating. It's more like I like this. I like this stuff. See, when you did on your last joint, when you told certain stories about your life, see those to me transcend time because people will experience what you went through and be able to identify with that. But on your warm up joints, they might be like Strack is my dude, and he was spitting, but that's what that is to them. They throw that on when they're at the gym working out. But like when they're listening to your last album and you had two separate trilogies and you're listening to that, the beat goes on, you can't just work out to that unless you've heard it so much that but the theme, some of the stuff you said on those, see that matters. That
Mm-hmm.
someone who's never heard that album will listen to that and be like, hold up. And then be like, what is he saying? And then they're gonna all of a sudden be like, that happened to me, and let me listen to how he's working through this. That matters. So that's what I mean. There's a difference in why music matters. For me, I don't want. It's not about like, yo, I got some crazy punches and bars on the other version that I think people are like, whoa, Kurt doesn't usually rap like that. Cool in that sense. But when I think about music that matters, right? When if racism stuff blows up again, I can point to the appendix to say, hey, a song like "Triggered" from Reporting Live, that song matters as long as there's racial tension. That's what I mean. Sure, those albums can be timeless, and I can throw them on, but those are more nostalgia, and those don't matter in the same way as like when I listen to some of the songs from The Beat Goes On. It's like I resonate with this. That matters to me. That's what I mean. I mean that in a sense. Not that boom. Of course, it all matters. I'm a hip hop historian. I'm a head. All that stuff matters on one level, but there are levels to mattering. And for me, I want my music to matter in a much more deeper level than just he got bars and punches or he got bars and beats. I don't care about that as much. I think what makes people be like, if I can change the way you think or help you think about something that you hadn't seen before, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
And punches and bars don't necessarily do that. They just entertain you, but they don't really change the way you see the world. And I want for me, I want to. So I think serial killer smiling pictures can change the way people see the world.
Yeah, you got to be saying something with your punches and bars. I mean, you have to be
Yeah,
saying something. Like it
yeah,
has to be
yeah.
cohesive, and your message has to be meaningful. You know what I'm saying? For the
Well
Christian,
said.
there's certain standards, but you got to say something.
Right. Yeah. So now, I mean, somebody jokingly said just lost a fan. LOL. Cool. I lose them and gain them all in the same sentence. So, but no, I just like I said, I got the contemporary version and the classic hip hop version. There's going for people who like that. I'm giving you that. I mean, you heard John Doe. There's a lot of stuff that has that feel, that vibe. That I'm with all of that. I like that stuff too. But when I'm thinking of themes and albums that I want you to go back and listen to 3 years from now, it's not going to be those types of songs. It's not going to be like a Reporting Live album,
Right.
right? It's not going to be Chapter Two or Frustrated Christian. It's going to be Appendix. It's going to be philosophy, right? Because of the theme of that sexuality that we're talking about. It's going to be serial killer smiling pictures. I've never done an album with this type of theme, and I was excited. It was a good challenge, and I think I met the challenge. I think I presented it well, and I think the people who do to hear it, even if I'm a little disappointed about how the rollout happened, I think over time, over the next 6 months, I think this album will be received well and widely enough that people can experience it. So
Word. I agree. I hope so. That's
excited
the
for that.
goal.
Excited for that. So this is the album. This is the cover. It's serial killer smiles and pictures. It will be released at midnight, 12:01 for all streaming. If you got a couple of dollars, I would ask you to support a brother. You can either go to Bandcamp, kirkkennedy.bandcamp.com, or you can go to iTunes, the store, not Apple Music, and buy the project. It'll be $10. It's $9.99. I get a few dollars from that, but I think it'll be worth it. But this is the album cover. So you got John Wayne Gacy in the top left. This dude was the clown, the killer clown. He would go to kids' parties, dressed up as a clown, and would end up killing kids. You got up on the top right talking to his lawyer, a female lawyer, who was in like love with him. This is Ted Bundy, right? You will hear about Ted Bundy on the album. This dude killed he confessed to over 30 something women he murdered, raped and murdered. And he has a lawyer who's there just fawning over him because they think he's a handsome dude, not realizing he will kill you. But you'll hear this on the album. In the bottom left corner, you got the Son of Sam killer. This is a Jewish dude that went berserk in the 70s in New York City. He went berserk, bro. And
There's a
killed
good
a ton
movie
of
about
people.
that joint too.
Yeah, Son of Sam. He went bonkers. I think it was named David. What's his name? David, not Stein, but something like that. I forgot his name. Bernstein or something like that. And then the bottom right, I always forget this dude's name. I can never remember his name, but he killed a rack of people and he was in this tower and was just killing people with this gun. It was incredible. So this is the album cover, man. It drops at midnight. Feel free to go to kirkkennedy.com. You'll hear there's some songs there that you'll be able to hear. The rest of the album will be on the website tomorrow for people that can listen to it. But it should be available. Now this has been a difficult week. I do think the enemy is trying to oppose this album. Even the view. I mean, I feel like the albums, the views of the video are doing better on Twitter than Facebook, which has never happened before. I'm used to having thousands of views of a video, and this one has like maybe 200 or something. So it's kind of funny in one sense. It's like, okay, Lord, why is this running? And it could just be maybe the topic is too heavy for people, and when you watch the video, you're like, man, this is heavy. But I think we live in a heavy culture. It's not like everything's all sweet and nice, and then I'm coming in with this major. No, it's just a crazy world we live in right
Right.
now, and it's evil. And I'm trying to give you some game to how to process that evil. So go check it out, man. I'd love to check out the album. Let me know what you think. You can go to kirkkennedy.com. My social medias links are on there. Obviously, you can leave a comment on the channel here. We appreciate you. If you're listening, actually, you know what? I don't even know if we're going to have audio because since I'm doing this on my iPad, I don't know if there's going to be audio to download to give to. So we'll talk when we finish this real quick. We'll have to do something. I just realized that
Kirk
because
Kennedy, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm used to downloading the audio from the computer, but I'm doing this on my iPad this time. So there won't be audio, but I'll go check when I'm done.
It's been a long week. It's been a long
It's been a
week.
long week, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll put something together for a couple minutes for the party people on the audio tip. But I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for your support, for riding out. Share the video, like the video, tell people about it. But I do believe for those of you that do listen to the album, you will be impacted. Your discernment game is going to step up a little bit in terms of what's happening in the culture. And I think I'll give you a creative presentation of, serial killers smiling in pictures. What does that actually mean? How do you know? I mean, think about this for a second. Jesus said, if you are angry at your brother, you commit murder in your heart. All right. The FBI classifies a serial killer as someone who kills 2 to 3 people in a short period of time, like over a couple months period of time, would be considered a serial killer. So think of how many people you've been angry at in your heart that Jesus says you've murdered. You might be a serial killer in more ways than you think. So, but check the album out. I'm looking forward to people hearing it, hearing what
Yeah.
everybody thinks, where it takes you, all of that good stuff. All right. So appreciate you all for hanging with us. Don't forget, go to Kirk Kennedy's Corner on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We've got some new subscribers. Please consider supporting us. Go to patreon.com/cross examine. Love our Patreon supporters. We got one or two more that came in. Some people strike up their Patreon support from 5 to
You gotta
25.
start
Shouts to
running this
Daniel and all
information
that.
on the bottom of the screen.
I know I should, but I don't want to expose some of that. So I just want to say I want those people to feel that because
No,
we,
no, no. I'm talking
starting in
about like the
starting in January.
website. I'm talking about the
Oh
website,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Patreon,
yeah,
all of
yeah.
that good stuff.
You know what? You're absolutely right though. I could do that because
Mm-hmm.
I should do that because that's easy to do
Yep.
and put that stuff there. But like we said, it's just been
We're gonna get
it's
this
been a
Ross
crazy week.
examine fixed next week too. We do
Yeah,
have a
we are
new
gonna get that
image.
fixed. We are gonna get that fixed. We are gonna get that fixed. So I'm with it. So you got KurtKennedy.com. Go there, check it out. There's a lot of good stuff there, a lot of resources, a lot of other music videos from other stuff. But right now it's about serial killers, smiling pictures. Excited for y'all. So thanks so much for riding with us, hanging out
Yes.
with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
If for our day ones on the audio, I hope I'm able to get the audio together. But if not, then I would do something brief for y'all and appreciate you all so much. Thank you. Go pick up Serial Killer Smiling Pictures.
Yes.
Share the video. Talk about the album. Let's get it. Let's make that joint go number 1,000 on iTunes, baby. I'm just shooting for 1,000.
Word up.
Now, I appreciate y'all, man. We're out of here. I'm Kurt Kennedy. He's Track the Wolverine. And we'll see y'all, man. Grace and peace.
Peace.